Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Before I Go podcast. We are celebrating Love Month at the podcast. Every Tuesday, I am exploring love during a different decade of my life. Last week, we looked at the bitter, angry years of my 30s, and today we are picking up with the 40s. So, the thing about being in an emotionally abusive relationship is that since there are no visible scars, it's difficult to categorize it as abusive. At least it was for me. I didn't recognize how abusive the relationship was until long after I was out of it. I mean, I knew it was bad, but I would stop short of calling it abusive. Couple that with the fact that it wasn't bad every day for 7 years. I mean, I can look at the relationship now and see that there were some positive aspects. Not many, but some. And it was because of those rare good times that I convinced myself that it was okay. I would give the abuser the benefit of the doubt. And in the end, I was angrier with myself for putting up with the bullshit. I should have treated myself better and not let the relationship go on for as long as it did. What does an emotionally abusive relationship look like? It is probably different for everyone. In my case, though, it looked like being with an insecure person who, in an attempt to hide his insecurity, would find subtle ways to put and keep me down. Or he would act out whenever my light threatened to shine brighter than his. Or he would say things like, "I'll always kiss your tears away," and then do things to make me cry so he could feel the joy of kissing my tears away. Or he would make me feel like he was always looking to trade up. And he wasn't subtle about it either. He was hiding in plain sight. It was humiliating. And I allowed myself to be humiliated for close to 7 years. By the time it ended, it was like this huge 250-pound weight was lifted off my chest. I was finally free. I commemorated the event by purchasing new bedroom furniture, throwing away all my thongs, and having the word freedom tattooed on my left arm. It was now 2010, and up until that point, I had never truly been single for any length of time since I was 15 years old. On the one hand, it felt good to finally be on my own. However, it also felt foreign and scary. What was I supposed to do now? I decided that I would be intentionally single. This would be the time that I would 100% focus on myself and my children and no one else. I needed this time to figure out who I was, what I wanted, and how I wanted to live out the rest of my life. I was broken, and I needed time, a lot of time, to heal and put myself back together again. I was a few short years away from being an empty nester, and I needed to figure out what my life was going to look like without a man and without young children in the house. At the end of my 40s, my life was busy. I was intent on filling the space that my ex once held. I joined a new church and began to fellowship with a new group of people. I was working out a lot more and even hired a personal trainer. I'd started traveling solo with trips to the mountains of North Carolina and to food tours in Chicago. I was helping my daughter get ready for her high school graduation and college. I was slowly getting back to happy, or at least it appeared that way. You may be asking, what happened to all the depression, the anger, the bitterness, and the guilt that I carried around in my 30s? Oh, it was still there. It was just buried. And with each passing year, I buried it deeper and deeper and deeper. It would make a reappearance, but not until I was well into my 50s. For now, though, in my 40s, I was raising successful children. I was working out and getting into the best physical shape of my life. I even bought myself a brand new to me, Mercedes convertible. I was definitely doing all the things, except the things that I should be doing, like going to a therapist. My 40s were a time of solitude, self-love, and self-reflection. I may have needed a therapist, but I wasn't ready to take that step yet. I needed time alone to really figure out who I was. I fell in love with myself in my 40s. I began to value me for me. I began to walk with my head up again. And by the end of 2013, I walked across a stage in a bikini and 5-inch heels with women who were half my age. You couldn't tell me nothing. I was feeling grateful, empowered, strong, and for the first time, I knew who I was without a partner. But there was still work to be done. How much work? You'll have to tune in next week for the final week of Love Month, where we talk about where I am now in my 50s. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for listening. But before I go, let me share this with you from Mitch Albom. It's not just other people we need to forgive. We also need to forgive ourselves for all the things we didn't do, for all the things we should have done. You can't get stuck on the regrets of what should have happened. I'll see you next time.